Okay, we are getting rolling with this live stream. If you're hopping in and watching this recorded, go ahead and let me know where you're watching from and what kind of conditions you're experiencing in your neighborhood. I'm going to wait for a few more people to join this live before I get going much more here. So go ahead and stand by as we let more people come on in to this live stream. And thanks everyone for hopping on. All right, stand by just for a minute here. While I figure a couple things out. Okay. So right now we're looking at satellite imagery of the atmospheric river that is being pumped into our area right now. Pretty crazy stuff. All right, just going to wait for a few more people to hop in here, and then we'll get started. Just got to get it going live on my Facebook. Hope everyone's having a good evening. As you're hopping in, go ahead and let me know where you're watching from, and we'll get started here. So several area rivers have already experienced major flooding. All right, I am just about ready to go here. Got more people hopping into the stream. Okay. And if you're watching over on Facebook, as you can see, I'm encouraging you guys to go ahead and jump over to my YouTube channel. It's going to be a better streaming experience for us tonight. Okay, so currently we are looking at satellite imagery. And this is the atmospheric river as it is being ushered into our area. And before I get going, I'm just going to make my pointer just a bit bigger here. I forgot to do that. There we go. Now my pointer is a little bit bigger for you guys. So yeah, this is our plume, and it's beginning to move back into our region right now. And as you can see, the radar is beginning to pick up across Washington State a bit more. And if we were to pop over to the coastal radar, you can see it's not very heavy just yet, but there is some rainfall beginning to move in here. And one of the things I want to do almost right off the bat is just go over all these different rivers that are currently at flood stage and have flood warnings. And if you're jumping on Facebook, I'm just encouraging you guys to click on the link that I have linked to the bottom of the Facebook live stream and just jump right on over to the YouTube live stream. All right. Hello, everyone. Benjamin Yurkovich here with Washington Weather Chasers. If you know that you're going to enjoy this stream, please go ahead and just hit that like button. That's going to help get the stream out to more and more people. Okay, so we're just going to blow through all these different flood warnings that we have in the area. Let's count these up real quick. So we got 2 separate warnings, it looks like, on the Skagit River. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 river warnings throughout the state. This is pretty crazy, guys. 31. And we're just going to go over some of these warnings right now. So this is looking at the flood warning for the Skagit River up by Concrete. And up by Concrete, they are expecting it to have major flooding on Friday until Friday evening. Right now, it's at 25 feet. Flood stage is at 28 feet. Look at this. The river is expected to rise to a crest of 47 feet. This crest compares to a previous crest of 45.7 feet back in 1917. And before we get much further, let's go ahead and take a look at what that would actually look like. I'm going to turn this onto the forecasted flood gauge section here. All right. So what this actually would practically look like on the flood gauge is this. So it looks like, holy smokes. Okay. All right. So the current forecast is for the Skagit River at Concrete to break the record by 5 feet. That is yeesh. All right, before we go any further, guys, just make sure and hit that like button. I know that you guys don't like flooding, but if you do like this stream, that's going to help out this stream. So if you hit the like button, it's not that you're liking the flooding. It's that you are liking the stream. And by the way, I see 184 of you guys are watching over on Facebook. I would encourage all of you guys to jump over to YouTube. I've got that linked in the bottom of the stream there. You can just click the link and that'll make it really easy for you. So this would be really bad if this forecast right here verifies in the Skagit River near Concrete. So let's see. I'm trying to find the historical. Okay, so the river has hit 42 feet before. At 40 feet, the Skagit River will cause severe near-record flooding from Rockport through Segiwole. Deep and swift waters will inundate and damage roads, farms, business, residential areas, especially Cape Horn, Hamilton, Thunderbird, Cockerham Island, Nuka Champs, and the Sterling area will be inundated. Levees east of Segiwole may be damaged. Okay, I'm going to adjust my Facebook live stream. I don't think this is... All right. Can you guys see this better on Facebook? And let me know if you like this better. I am live over on YouTube if you would like to hop over to YouTube. But I'll keep this going like this on Facebook. Hey, Lisa Setchler, thanks for becoming a member here on the YouTube channel. So yeah, again, if you're just hopping in, pretty crazy stuff coming out from the National Weather Service official forecast for the Skagit River near Concrete. We're talking 5 feet above the record is what they're currently forecasting. Yeah, the river is forecasted to rise above flood stage late tonight to crest to 47.4 feet early Thursday morning. I'm sorry I'm spending so much time on this, but this is just crazy. So I wonder what they're forecasting for Mount Vernon. Before we look at Mount Vernon, we are going to go ahead and click on the flood gauge here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the record in Mount Vernon is 37.4 feet. Currently, the National Weather Service is forecasting 41.4 feet, 31.54 feet. That's 4 feet above the record in Mount Vernon. If this verifies, guys, if this verifies, it's going to be really bad. Let's all, if you're someone of prayer, just pray that this doesn't happen. If you're someone, just whatever, do your thing. Let's really just hope this does not happen. The historic crest, 37.37, was back on November 25th, 1990. And this upcoming flood, the National Weather Service is calling for the Mount Vernon part of the Skagit River to break the record by 4 feet if this actually verifies. That'd be really bad. So taking a look at their warning, flood warning now in effect from Wednesday morning through early Saturday afternoon. Major flooding is forecast. This approaches the flood record, Skagit River near Mount Vernon. And there it is right there. It will rise above flood stage late tomorrow morning to 41 feet by early Friday morning. Goodness me. All right, so the effects, if this were to actually occur, at 36 feet, which is 5 feet lower than what they're forecasting, the Skagit River will cause severe near-record flooding from Cedar Woolley downstream through Mount Vernon. Deep and swift floodwaters will inundate and possibly damage many roads, farmlands, residential areas. Levees may be damaged. Flood areas also include headwaters, tributaries, and other streams in the Skagit Basin. This level for this location corresponds to Phase 1 of the Skagit County. So anyways, horrible flood forecasted for the Skagit River. Yeah, crazy. I remember back in 2021, they were expecting it to break a crazy record like that, and it ended up coming in closer to the old record. All right, this is looking at the North Fork of the Still-Squamish River. Currently near Arlington. All right, so this is the North Fork. They're forecasting it to get to 14.72 feet. If we were to look at the warning for that, first we'll look at the warning actually for the Granite Falls area. Their flood gauge is kind of weird there. The river is not 212 feet deep there. I don't know what the deal is with that gauge. But at the South Fork of the Still-Squamish River by Granite Falls, they're expecting moderate flooding. Okay, so now, this is the Still-Squamish near Arlington. They are expecting the Still-Squamish near Arlington to get really close to the record flood stage that was set just a couple years ago. The record flood stage was back on December 5th, 2023 at 21.3 feet. They're currently forecasting for the river to get up to 20.59 feet. And by the way, I never asked you guys, let me know how the audio is. Let me know how the picture quality is, all those things. And if you're watching over on Facebook, I just want you guys to know that I am also streaming on YouTube, and it's a wider screen view. So if you want to see a better picture, I would jump over to YouTube. The reason why I'm doing a vertical stream on Facebook is just because Facebook, the algorithm works with me better if I do a vertical live stream. So I'm just trying to get the information out to you guys on Facebook. Okay, so this is looking pretty bad. So Skagit River is forecasted to break records big time. And also the Nooksack is now expected to reach moderate flood stage. Looking at the Nooksack, it's expected to get up to 8.77 feet there by Saxton Bridge. By Cedarvale, it's expected to get to 148.57 feet. That's just a foot below. Let's see. Yeah, if you're enjoying the stream, please make sure and hit the like button. Hitting the like button with this stream does not mean that you like flooding. It just means that you're enjoying the live stream. So, okay. The record crest for the Nooksack River was 150 feet back in November of 2021. It's expected to get within a foot and a half of that. So, actually about 2 feet. Man, this is starting to feel a little bit too real. Okay, so, and then at the Nooksack near Ferndale, we're just going to keep on trucking on, as tough as it is to look at all these bad forecasts. It's expected to get up to 21.33 feet, and that's not quite near the record historic crests there near Ferndale, but still could be some pretty reasonable flooding. Now we're going to take a look at the Skykomish River, and I'm going to pull up the warning for that so we're ready to go with that. All right, so the Skykomish River here, clicking on the gauge, is expected to get up to 22.46 feet now. That is within 2 feet of the all-time record there in Skykomish. So it is going to be worse than this last flood. They're expecting it to get 2 feet higher than it got last night out there near Gold Bar. And it looks like the last time it got close to this level was back in 2015. And this is going to be comparable to the flood of 1990 out there on the Skykomish River. So heads up if you live out there near Skykomish. The official flood warning mirrors what I just told you guys. And yeah, this would be considered to be major flooding out there on the Skykomish River. All right, I'm just going to take a quick pause to take a look at your comments real fast. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and comment them. I hate to, I don't know, even ask or whatever, but if you do a super chat, I will see your question a bit more easily, just because it's going to pop up and I'll hear a sound and it'll get my attention. So if you want me to see your questions a bit more easily, go ahead and just either send stars or a super chat and I will stop. There we go. So Marcy, if you wanted me to answer your question, the moment I hear one of these noises, I will stop and I will answer your questions. And I'm just going to make sure here. Hey, Brandon Jones, thanks for becoming a member. Just going to check the audio one more time here. Comments real fast. All right, cool. Yeah, let me know if the audio is still good. Okay. Continuing down the line here. I'm going to make this so it's not so opaque. Okay. Okay, so far, guys, we've gone over the Nooksack, we've gone over the Skagit, we've gone over the Still-Squamish, we've gone over the Skykomish, and now we're going to go over the Snoqualmie. Whoa, they really upped what is expected for the Snoqualmie River, I do believe. So now they're expecting the Snoqualmie River to jump all the way up to 59,000 cubic feet per second. This morning it was at 45,000 cubic feet per second. This is going to be close to maybe the sixth highest it's been or something. Yeah, this would be the sixth highest crest out there. And what they are expecting in the warning here is for the river to get up to 52,850 cubic feet per second at 41,000, which is similar to what we had today. The Snoqualmie River will cause major flooding, but it's going to be even more major than what we saw today, obviously. Okay, go ahead and let me know in the comments if you want me to pause real quick and go over wind, because I see a few people commenting about wind. And I'll look at so there's another question about the wind. Oh, wow, look at that. Yeah, someone just said the Wenatchee River is expected to hit major flood stage. That is crazy. Yeah, it's supposed to get up to 15.71 feet. Man, when's the last time that happened? Hey, thank you, Richard Bolin, for the super chat. I will grab a cup of coffee on the next chase, and thanks in advance for that coffee. Okay, so the last time, it has been several years since the Wenatchee has even gotten over 15 feet. Okay, so this is comparable. The last time this happened out there in Wenatchee was back on November 30th, 1995. If I'm reading this data correctly. Yep, I am. So heads up, big time. Actually, wait, no, that's 15.7 feet. Oh. Okay, I lied. The last time this happened was back in about 2006. Sorry. If you're watching on Facebook, a super chat is something you can do over on YouTube. On Facebook, it is stars. But yeah, Zoya says they got an alert. Okay, so Zoya just got an alert on her phone for an evacuation for EB Island. EB Island evacuation, guys. If you don't know where that is, that's between Lake Stevens and Everett. Basically, the trestle runs over EB Island. And if the river gets up as high as they're expecting, EB Island likely will flood. All right, I'm going to look at your comments real quick and see if any of you guys wanted that wind conversation. Okay. Looks like most of you guys want rivers, but real quick, I'm just going to touch on the wind just because so many people asked real fast. I was going to get to this, but so far with the saturated soils, this could be a bit of an issue. Tomorrow, starting in the morning, it's going to start getting a bit gusty. This is looking at 4 o'clock around Payne Field, 41 miles per hour down there by Seattle, 37 out there on the Kitsap Peninsula, low to mid 40s. And it's going to stay gusty from about Everett south and also in eastern Washington throughout much of Wednesday. And it's going to peak tomorrow afternoon into evening. Over there by Payne Field, the European model has it gusting close to 50 miles per hour. And also down there by Seattle has some gusts up into the mid 40s. May not seem like a lot, but with the saturated soils, this could cause a bit more issues. This is looking at the HER, and the HER shows pretty similar to what the European is showing from about Everett up through, yeah, there's going to be a cutoff line. Like Arlington might not be too windy initially with this, but starting tomorrow morning through the afternoon and peaking sometime tomorrow afternoon, there's going to be gusts into the 40s and mid 40s. Out there in eastern Washington, there could be some areas that get gusts up over 50 miles per hour. So that's basically the update. Really windy over the mountains. But now we're going to get back to the rivers. Tolt River, pretty big crest right there. They're expecting it to get up to 10,688 cubic feet per second. Snoqualmie River near Carnation is now expected to get up towards 60 feet. The record for that location is 62.2 feet. And the warning for Carnation there impacts at 60 feet. The Snoqualmie River will cause severe near-record flooding from Falls City downstream through Carnation Duval, inundating many farms, etc. It's expected to get up to about 60 feet. All right, so now we are going to jump over to the Snohomish River. The Snohomish River is expected to have a pretty exceptional flood. Looking at the gauge near Monroe. Jeez. All right, so the Snohomish River near Monroe is expected to set a new record, about 1.5 feet above the previous record. The previous record is 25.3 feet in Monroe for the Snohomish River, and it is expected that by 4 p.m. on Thursday, the Snohomish River is going to get to 26.77 feet. Now, keep in mind with these flood warnings, these are forecasts. These could be slightly wrong, but these outputs are insane. You should definitely take these seriously and just hope that the rivers come in lower than what's actually being forecast. But the last time the river got anywhere close to this high at that location was back on November 25th, 1990, when it hit 25.3 feet. At 22 feet, the Snohomish River will cause severe flooding with deep, swift waters inundating farmland, residential areas, roads. Levees could suffer overtopping, major damage. Flooding will occur all along river heading, including headwaters, tributaries, other streams within and near Snohomish River Basin. And it's expected to get 3 feet higher. Actually, no, almost 5 feet higher than for what I just read. So, really bad if that were to occur. If you live near these rivers, I would get extra familiar with the floodplains and find out if you live on the floodplain. And real quick, I'm going to pause real quick. If you're watching this YouTube right now, just do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Even if I know none of us like flooding, none of us like the damage that's going to happen from this. But if you hit that like button, that's going to help this live stream get out to more people, which is in the end going to help other people out. And it also does help me out as well, full disclosure. So please hit that like button. And if you have any questions and you really want me to see them, if you can afford it, attach your question to either stars on Facebook or a super chat on YouTube, and that will help me see your question. And I'll pause my update and I'll answer your question. Otherwise, I am going to just keep on blowing through this. As a matter of fact, I'll turn off the ads on this stream for a bit here, and super chats will help in that regard. Okay, so continuing on here. Going over to the Snohomish River. In Snohomish, they are now expecting, thank you, Ron Wallens, for the stars, the river to beat the all-time record that was set back in 1990. Back in 1990, the river got to 33.5 feet. It came close to breaking that record back in 2006 and again in 2009. And right now, the forecasted flood is expected to get higher than all three of those floods. Jason, yes, I can confirm. They predicted 41 feet for the Skagit River. We'll take a look at that again real quick. 41.5 feet forecasted for Mount Vernon. That's about 4 feet higher than the previous record. Absolutely stupid. Rebecca asks, Chehalis area, please. Thanks for the updates. Okay, so real quick, thank you for the stars, Rebecca. I'm going to jump down to the Chehalis area. So here is Centralia and Chehalis. Currently, the Newaukum River near Chehalis is expected, it already got really close to record today, and it's not going to crest quite as high in the next couple days, which is good news for you guys. And I'm sure there was already some pretty bad flooding down there. Road Wary, thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Okay, so the Skookumchuck River down there near Centralia and Bakota is expected to get up towards 214 feet, 214.48 feet. and Chehalis Grand Mound. Look at that long. So basically, it's at 142.33 feet right now, and they're expecting it to eventually get up towards 143 and then just basically hang out at that level until about Friday morning, which is just bonkers. All right. Going to go back north a little bit here. Janine, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. So yeah, if you didn't catch it, Snohomish River expected to break record flood stage. Looking at the warning. Thank you, Jason. Jason, if you want to see the zoomed out view, I would highly encourage you to jump over to YouTube. It's a more widescreen look. The reason why I'm doing this the way I am on Facebook is because Facebook will not push out my live streams unless I do them vertically. So here, I can try to adjust that canvas a little bit for you guys here. Let me know if that's better. Okay. So yeah, Snohomish River expected to get to 33.8 feet late Thursday evening. And that is going to be the record flood stage. Impacts at 33 feet. Snohomish will cause severe near-record flooding. Floodwaters will likely overtop levees, with major levee damage possible. Floodwaters will inundate much of the river valley, including State Route 2 west of Monroe, State Route 9, Lowell, Snohomish River Road. Flooding will occur all along the river, including headwaters, tributaries, and other streams within and near Snohomish River Basin. A stage of 33 feet on the Snohomish River corresponds to a Phase 4 in the Snohomish Flood Program. All right, looking at your comments here just a little bit more. Stand by just for a minute. Appreciate you guys all hanging out with me. Forgot to jump this in here. And real quick, I just want to take a quick pause. If you're wondering what Ko-Fi is, basically what Ko-Fi enables creators like myself to do is keep 100% of donations. Super Chat on YouTube and stars on Facebook, they take a big cut, but Ko-Fi allows creators to keep 100%. So if you would like to, you can send a donation over on my Ko-Fi there, and that will just continue to help fund the mission here at Washington Weather Chasers, and also helps me get out in the field and also make sure that I have good, not just good, but better equipment to show you guys what's happening in as high of quality as I possibly can. So yeah, that's a big deal on the Snohomish River. Possibly going to break flood stage. Kelly, I did talk about the Skykomish River. It's going to get higher than it did last night. Here, I'll jump over to that again. So last night, the Skykomish River got to 20.32 feet. It is expected to get to 22.46 feet by Wednesday afternoon. Okay, so continuing down the line. We already went over Snoqualmie. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Cedar River. And we'll start upstream on the Cedar River. Cedar River is expected to get pretty close to record flood stage near Landsberg. At 9.97 feet, the record is 10.4 feet. It looks like, so 9.97 feet. It's been a very long time since it's gotten that high. It looks like the last time it got close to that was back on November 24th, 1990. So when the Cedar River gets up over 7.5 feet, the Cedar River will cause severe flooding from Landsberg through Maplewood. Deep, swift floodwaters will inundate many roads and some residential areas, especially Maple Valley. Flooding will occur all along the river, including headwaters, tributaries, other streams, and Cedar River Basin. BJ Bumblebee 5324 on YouTube says, the Snohomish Valley looked more like Puget Sound in 1975 when the pumping station went out. So in 1975, let's just take a quick look at that real quick up there on the Snohomish River. 1975, the Snohomish River got to 33.16 feet. This upcoming Thursday is expected to get to 33.83 feet, higher than 1975. Oh boy. Yep. All right. Back down to the Cedar River at Renton. It's expected to get almost to record flood stage down there in Renton. It's expected to get to 17.01 feet. The record is 17.1 feet. The last time the river got to that height was the record crest back on November 24th, 1990. The last time it came close was January 8th, 2009 at 16.27 feet. So what's forecasted right now is the second highest crest. At 16 feet, the Cedar River will cause major flooding in Renton, especially the Renton Airport. Flooding will occur all along the river, including headwaters, tributaries, and other streams within and near the river basin. I'm going to go ahead and pause the ads again on YouTube. Looking at the warning down there for Cedar River. Kind of hard to tell what's going on here. This is the Green River. There we go. Green River. All right. I am just real quick going to do this. Yeah, we'll click there. There we go. Impacts at 12,000 cubic feet per second. The Green River will inundate low areas from Middle Green River. Why isn't it showing me the Cedar River? I'm looking at the Cedar River. Well, this is glitching a little bit here. I apologize, guys. But the Cedar River expected to get quite high. South Prairie Creek is going to get up to 6,100 cubic feet per second. And then we also have the Carbon River near Fairfax, which is going to get to about as high as it got today, which was near the record. So it's going to get just a little bit higher than this forecast today. So if you live out by Carbon River, you know what it was like today. It's going to get similar to that again on Thursday morning. And then the Puyallup River near Ording is expected to get just a little bit higher than it got last night and this morning. So keep an eye on that. It's expected to get that high again by about Wednesday morning through Thursday morning. Nisqually River expected to get to 18.5 feet. And the last time it got to 18.5 feet, wait. Historic crests is never, oh, I take it back. 18,528 cubic feet per second. It's going to get to 12.7 feet. I apologize, guys. It's been a long day. So the last time it got to 12.7 feet was back in 2009, January 7th, 2009. Yes, Roadster Jim, the Snohomish River Valley is very vulnerable. If you're just hopping in, so far, I've gone from Whatcom County down through Skagit County, through Snohomish County, and now making my way a little bit further down. I have done King County as well. And we just looked at the Nisqually River. We have looked at the Chehalis rivers. We're going to look at the Cowlitz River right now, real fast. So the Cowlitz River is expected to get to 13.31 feet. That's about 1.5 feet below major flood stage. Last time it got to 13.3 feet was around 1962 is a comparable flood. The all-time record was 2006 at 14.5. And it hasn't been close to this stage since 2006. So pretty major flooding heading towards the Cowlitz River. It's going to get up towards that on Wednesday morning and stay at that that high major crest through Thursday morning. And the Cowlitz River will cause severe near record flooding from the upper reaches of the river downstream through Packwood. Very dangerous inundations of commercial areas and farms throughout the floodplain. Flooding will occur all on the river, including headwaters. The Pilchuck River, I see your comment, Mike Axton. The reason I'm not talking about the Pilchuck River is because the last couple times I've checked, they're not actually expecting the Pilchuck River to get to flood stage. This could change though. But yeah, they're not even forecasting the Pilchuck River to get to action stage. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hey, Roadster Jim, thank you for your generous super chat. I really appreciate that. And you're welcome. Okay, so we're going to make our way back north in case you didn't catch my update here in just a moment. Grays River, it was higher yesterday, and it's not going to get as high as it did yesterday. Some interesting stuff out here in the Natchez. Got pretty high today. Looks like it just is going to be getting up towards its highest crest on Thursday. And then the Yakima River, already crested today, is going down. It's going to get a little bit higher on Wednesday night. And then look at this. The Wenatchee River is expected to get to major flood stage. 15.7 feet. Let's look at what the impacts will be for that. Basically, major flooding is likely throughout the valley between Leavenworth and Wenatchee. That's all the details they have on that. It's probably because it doesn't happen very often. Brian Rock Railfan says the trains are still running so far. That's great. Okay, so before I go through all the flood warnings again, I want to take a look at this right here. Integrated vapor transport. I'm going to check how far into the stream I am right now. 45 minutes. That helps me know when this is going to start. So quick weather update here. This is looking at the integrated vapor transport for this next leg of the atmospheric river as it comes into our area. So this is tonight into Wednesday morning, through the day Wednesday, through Wednesday night, and through Thursday morning. It's just going to be pumping that moisture in here. And even if you're in an area that doesn't end up getting a lot of rain, you need to know that that moisture is just getting wrung out over the mountains like a sponge. So even if there is some rain shadowing going on, do not be fooled. Know that up in the mountains, this is what is happening. Look at that. So up in the mountains, an additional 5 to 8 inches of rain in just a short period of time. We're talking like 48 hours. And there is going to be some even localized higher amounts. Same up there in the Olympic Mountains. Yeah, we're going to have to keep a close eye on the Pilchuck River. Just for whatever reason, the National Weather Service is not forecasting it to flood just yet. But yeah, a lot more rain coming according to the European model. And looking at the HRRR model here on the most recent run. Wow. The high resolution models can tend to overdo it sometimes with the orographic lift over mountain features, but it had a couple spots getting up towards 15 inches of rain, which would just be stupid. All right, looking through the comments here real fast. I'm going to pop this over to this. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to put this on a loop for a second. You can see the rain beginning to move in here. All the different flood warnings of the bright green. Looking through your comments here for a minute. I'm going to scroll up because I've been just talking, been yapping. All right. Go ahead and let me know where you're watching from. Okay, Janine, I don't know if you're still watching, but if you are, she said, explain to us delayed flooding after it stops raining. I'm in Mount Vernon, and I'm not working for a client who lives in Burlington off of Lafayette, where there's a close to river and a dike. Yeah, so the delayed flooding mostly is because the atmospheric river shifted south for much of the day and is now shifting back north. And as this shifts back north, it's going to wring out a lot more moisture over the mountains. And it takes a while for basically that swell, that crest, to make it all the way to places like Mount Vernon and whatnot. Looking through your comments a bit more here. Yeah, so record flooding forecast on the Skagit River and the Snohomish River. I mean, truly a stupid forecast is forecasted for the Skagit River up there at Mount Vernon. It is expected to get like nearly, 5 feet above the record there. About 4 feet above the record there, excuse me, in Skagit River near Mount Vernon. And yeah, unfortunately in Mount Vernon, I'm pretty sure those new flood barriers that they installed there in Mount Vernon would be overtopped with this, and downtown Mount Vernon would probably end up being flooded. If this verifies. Joe Mama says they plan on releasing water out of the Mud Mountain Dam on the White River this evening, affecting Auburn, Sumner, and Pacific. Hello, everyone. I see where you guys are all watching from. This is great. BJ Bumblebee says, I should call my brother. He lives in the Stille, and he also worked conservation on the Skagit. Yeah, the Stille is also expected to get really high. Yeah, there might be a chance of I-5 having trouble down there by Chehalis. All right, the rain is starting to pick up in the region here again, guys. Turn those warnings off real quick. Yeah, the rain is really starting to pick up. You can see some heavier precip starting to begin down there by Puyallup, Enumclaw. It's funneling up towards the Cascades by Snoqualmie. Going to be some big totals that are going to start piling up there quickly. By tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., this is how much rain we can expect there to already have fallen. It's 7 a.m. right there. And then through Thursday morning to the afternoon, that's how much more rain we're expected to get. Yes, the Nooksack River is expected to flood. Brittany over on Facebook. Nooksack River near Cedarvale, expected to get to 148.57 feet possibly, which is about 2 feet below what happened in 2021, I believe. And there's no warning up there yet, though. Crystal asking about the Stille. Talked about this a little bit earlier, but Stille is expected to get about a foot, actually under a foot below record. It's going to get really close to the record that was set just a couple years ago. Tracy Rogers says, I'm right next to the river at the new RV resort by Blade Chevy. I'm not sure if I know where that is. Mount Vernon. Yeah, let's take a look at that's in the map. All right. So, go. All right, I'm looking at where that Blade Chevy is up there. Yeah. If this forecast for the Skagit River verifies, I would not want to be there. Again, looking at the Skagit River, we're talking breaking the flood record by several feet. Yeah, by about 4 feet. So if this comes even close to verifying, you're not going to want to be right next to the river. There's going to be levees getting overtopped. Okay, yeah, guys, we're still live. There's also a little live button you guys should see. It's currently 8:16 p.m. where I am. If you guys would like to support what I'm doing here, you can check out my Ko-Fi. Just linked it. If you guys would like to continue seeing these kind of live streams happen and whatnot, those kind of things help. Lisa, thanks for being a member. Yeah, crazy forecast. And look it up here by concrete. I mean, if this verifies, oh, that's where it was. Concrete is expected to get 5 feet above the record up there. It's just going to be a wall of water if this verifies. The record for the Skagit River was made up there by concrete. Well, apparently, I don't know how true this is, but there was a 69.3 foot crest back on January 1st, 1815. I need to look into that one. But back on October 21st, 2003, it got to 42.21 feet up there. And that is the record other than that anomalous one. So this would, and that's actually the one that I just said is the record. So the 1815 one doesn't really count. So yeah, 2003. And again, if you missed it, the Snohomish River is expected to break its record there in Monroe by about 1.5 feet almost. It's going to be really bad if that happens. And the Snohomish River in Snohomish is expected to break its record just by a little bit. But even if it gets close to 33 feet, the last time the Snohomish River has been anywhere close to 33 feet, it's been several years. Right here. Oh no, I must have missed one. Up here. Yeah, there we go. January 8th, 2009. So we're talking a long time. It's had a lot of different floods, but it's not had a flood that's been close to record breaking since 2009. And if this forecast happens, I mean, we're talking, let's read the impacts again for the Snohomish River. Snohomish River will cause severe near record flooding. Floodwaters will likely overtop levees with major levee damage possible. Floodwaters will inundate much of the river valley, including State Route 2 west of Monroe and State Route 9 and Lowell Snohomish River Road. It's going to be a big deal if the forecast verifies. Yeah, looks like we got over 500 people in here. If you guys want to do me a quick favor and just hit that like button, I would greatly appreciate that. That'll help get this live stream out to more and more people. And that's one of the best ways to show your appreciation for this live stream is just the simple action of hitting the like button. And also don't forget to subscribe if you would like to see these kind of things in the future. And by the way, the like button is different than the heart button. I'm talking about liking the actual stream, but thanks for the hearts as well. Jessica Calliger over on Facebook says, Jason and I went and walked the waterfront tonight, and we're looking at the measurement marker below the Mexican restaurant. 1995 is the last time they have registered, but probably because 2009 didn't beat it. But 1990 did. It was even higher. It's crazy high, though. When you look at the marker, I really hope it's not as high as 1995. That's really high. We're going to go back down and look tomorrow night. Yes, Jessica Calliger, if this forecast verifies, it's not going to be great. Somewhere, let me read you guys a text from my sister earlier today. She sent me a text and it reminded me that somewhere there's a photo of me when I was a baby during the November 1990 floods in Snohomish, my mom holding me by the floodwaters. And my sister Amy says, I remember when you were a baby in 1990 when the Snohomish River had that major flood, and going down to Snohomish with you and mom and our sister and watching cows floating down the river, tons of cows mooing as they were dying, essentially, and seeing barns and other structures floating down the river. I never thought we might see something like that again. So, yeah, hopefully we don't see anything quite like that. Thanks to all of you who have liked the stream so far. Okay. I'm going to read through a couple reports over on my Facebook page here. By the way, I've got a flood report thread over on my Facebook page. It's been pretty great. Excuse me. All right. Jonathan Poley, by the way, put out a fantastic forecast on the Washington Weather Chasers Facebook page. It's written. If you guys want to go over there and read that, highly encourage it. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and go over his live stream, or I'm going to go over his forecast here on stream. All right, so let me drag this tab to right here. All right, this is written by a friend and colleague of mine, Jonathan Poley. Round 2 of major historic river flooding incoming. And this is posted on the Washington Weather Chasers Facebook page. Good evening, everyone. The atmospheric river that has brought widespread river flooding has moved south into Oregon today, allowing for a break over western Washington, but it is now starting to push back north. This marks the start of the second and likely even more impactful flooding episode across the region. Not only is much more rain expected, but it will now be falling on highly saturated soils thanks to the last 48 hours of rainfall. This will lead to even some river level records potentially being hit. Without further ado, let's get into it with the forecast details. Currently, radar shows precipitation has begun to spread back over Washington as the atmospheric river surges into the area once again. The third image below shows the infrared satellite imagery showing the large atmospheric river. And we can go ahead and pop over to this real quick and reference what he's talking about. There's the big moisture plume coming towards us. Rainfall rates will increase overnight tonight, hold steady through Wednesday evening. However, rain will continue to pile up in the mountains and some lowland areas through at least Thursday morning. Additional rainfall totals will amount to about 1 to 2.5 inches in the lowlands. Lower amounts are expected in the rain shadow, and 6 to 12 inches in the mountains, with locally higher amounts possible. The second image below shows a general idea of what to expect with rainfall totals from now through Thursday afternoon. Normally, these totals would not cause huge problems for us, but this is all arriving after we have already gotten about this much or more over the prior couple days. And yeah, if you want to read the rest of that, I would highly encourage you to. A lot of details there. Very good stuff. But he also goes over a bunch of different rivers, kind of like we're doing on this live stream, what they're expected to do. And yeah, so again, encourage you guys to jump over to the Washington Weather Chasers Facebook and check out that forecast written by my friend and colleague, Jonathan Poley. I just posted it right there in the comments if you would like to reference that. Okay, so something I'm going to do real quick here is I'm just going to take a look at what rivers locally are going to do. So it looks like the Snohomish River is going to stay at flood stage, and then it's going to rise higher than it was today by about, in the morning. And then by about 2 p.m., it's going to be above major flood stage. And then it's going to get to the record by Thursday. Someone just asked about Leavenworth. Wenatchee River is going to do some big time flooding out there. It's going to be the highest that river has gotten since I think it was 2015 when I last checked. No. 1990 last checked. Yeah, the Wenatchee River doesn't flood like this very often. So the last time it got this high, there it is. Yeah, 2006. 15 feet, 2006, November 7th. So it's been nearly 20 years since the Wenatchee River has flooded like this. Okay, folks, going to look through your comments a little bit more here. And thanks for the support. Thanks for those who have sent super chats and stars. And if you haven't already, feel free to also check out my Ko-Fi. Thank you if you're still watching Ferglion for your Ko-Fi. And Cheryl, thank you so much for your large gift over there on Ko-Fi. Says, a very grateful Bakota resident with a respect for the beautiful Skookumchuck that I live less than 100 yards from. Well, Cheryl, let's take another look, if you're still watching, at the Skookumchuck River. And that's going to help with the next couple days driving around and checking things out. Okay. Skookumchuck. There it is. Skookumchuck by Bakota. We're going to look at this again. So it got pretty high today. Today it got to 212.92 feet. And looks like the last real flood they had down there was back in 2002. And it's expected, though, to get higher with the next crest. It's going to get about as high as it did today by about 10 a.m. tomorrow. And then it's going to continue rising through Thursday, and eventually it's going to crest by about 10 a.m. on Thursday at 214.48 feet. And that would be the third highest crest on record. Be really close to 215. The Skookumchuck River in Thurston County will cause major flooding in the Bakota area with deep, swift floodwaters inundating residential and business areas, numerous roads. Flooding will occur all along the river, including headways, headwaters, tributaries, other streams. I'm going to go ahead and turn the warnings back on here so you guys can see that overlaid. And I'm going to look at your guys' comments again. Okay, so Abernathy Creek Road, says Ryan Dalton. Let me go ahead and double check where that is real fast. Okay, so that's... Oh, wow. Okay, so that's way down south. I don't really have any details on Abernathy Creek Road. Abernathy Creek, is there a flood gauge in Abernathy Creek? Let's see. Okay, there we go. Ah. Yeah, they don't really have any info down there. Check out this USGS monitoring location, see if there's anything going on. Yeah, no data available for Abernathy. I apologize. Okay, Brian Locklear says, what about Stanwood? I live right near Port Susan and the Stillaguamish River. Well, unfortunately, it's going to get pretty close to record flood stage again. If you remember what the Stillaguamish River did just a couple years ago, it's going to get close to that. So you live near Port Susan. I'm going to double check exactly where that is. Yeah. Yeah, there by Stanwood, Savannah, Island Crossing, over there on Highway 9 and 530, I would be aware of the possibility of flooding. Cheryl Morris on YouTube says, in 2022, we had 18 inches around her house in Pacoodle. By the way, if you guys didn't see it, I'm going to show you guys real fast my footage from today. Let's see if I can pull that up here. So yeah, this is what I saw out there on the Stillaguamish River earlier today. This absolutely massive, massive flooding. And it's expected to get even higher than this the next couple days. So, yeah. All right. The rain is picking up. Something we can do real fast is we can pop over to weather.gov here, turn on current conditions, observations. We can pop on precipitation. We can do 6 hour. And we can see how much has already fallen. So yeah, it's just getting started here. You can see there has been more rain in South Washington, but precipitation is beginning to overspread the region again. And by way of reminder, we are expecting some pretty big totals out of this. This is what the European has through Thursday. By the way, if you've enjoyed this stream so far and you have not already hit the like button, please go ahead and hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate that. If you don't know where the like button is, I'm going to go ahead and point it out right here. The like button is this little button right here. I'm just going to go ahead and click it and show you guys what that looks like. That would greatly help out the channel if you want to go ahead and do that. Puyallup, Carbon, South Creek. I talked about those rivers a little bit earlier, but we can go ahead and look over those again real fast. go ahead and let me know if you guys want me to keep on streaming for a while, but pretty soon here. I'm probably going to try to get to bed early tonight. It's going to be important to reserve energy this week. So the Carbon River, WA Mama 84 near Fairfax. Got to 16.15 today. It's expected to get back up to 16.16 by 4 a.m. on Thursday. Puyallup River near Ording is expected to get over a little bit higher than it got today. Again, by about 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, and it's going to stay elevated and reach its record crest. Not record crest, it's going to reach its crest for the week, Thursday, December 11th by 4 a.m. Cedar-Woolley is not looking good, Shelby. The National Weather Service is now forecasting a record crest for Mount Vernon. Up there in Skagit, they're expecting that the river is going to go 5 feet above the record. And so Cedar-Woolley had a bad flood back in 2021. This would actually, believe it or not, if it verified, end up being worse. And then in Mount Vernon, about 4 feet above record flood stage, which would actually flood the town, like downtown. And Fur Island, if this verified, it would probably flood and it would just be horrible. Hey, Joey's Mama 9641 says that Whatcom County weather is going to be going live at 9 p.m. If you live up in Whatcom County, highly suggest you subscribe to Randy Small's Whatcom County Weather YouTube channel and check out his live stream. Okay. Well, everyone, I have gone over a lot of details. I bet you, if I haven't answered your question yet, I bet you anything, if you were to go, actually, no, real quick, something we can do is we could just look at this page. There is a wind advisory up for a lot of the state. I did go over winds earlier. The wind advisory for west of the Cascades is calling for gusts up to 40. I think there could be some gusts up to 45. The reason why they're putting that out, though, is mostly because the soil is so saturated. It's not going to take as much wind to cause problems. And then east of the Cascades, there's also wind advisories and a high wind warning down there in far southeast Washington, where there could be a couple gusts up to 60 miles per hour by Alpawa, Summit, and Pomeroy. Lots of flood warnings, obviously. Okay. Well, if you've enjoyed this stream, again, please make sure and hit that like button. That's the best way to show your support. I'm going to probably get ready to wrap up here. But if you would like to send us a tip for this, you can do so over at Ko-Fi. There's no pressure to. It's only if you want to. Brian, I will show the Cowlitz River again for you. Cowlitz River. All right. Turn off action. All right. Cowlitz. So here's the Cowlitz River. Currently, it's at major flood stage down there by Randall. And it's expected to stay in major flood stage all the way. It's expected to stay in major flood stage all the way through Friday afternoon. And it's actually going to get a foot higher than today's crest at 24 feet on Thursday morning. And that's going to be near record flood stage. And being elevated that long could also exacerbate problems for sure. A lot of erosion, etc. And upstream by Packwood, today I got to 11.52. Didn't quite get to major flood stage up there by Packwood, but they're expecting it to get into major flood stage on Wednesday morning and stay there until Thursday morning, up to about 13.31 feet, which is only just over a foot below the record. Linwood is not going to have any issue from river flooding, which is the main thing that I'm really talking about tonight. It is going to get a bit breezy and windy in Linwood, and there's going to be some rain, but not river flooding. Okay, folks. Well, hey, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap this up. If you did not hear me cover your area, I go basically from north to south at the beginning of this live stream. Once I stop this, you can go back and rewatch it. And you can also copy this and share it with your friends and all those kind of good things. All right, folks. Thank you, and I will talk to you later.